It's time for Gardening Inside Out, a live show offering you plant advice for any space in your life. Introducing your perennial hosts, David Bates and Josh Carey.
And welcome in, everyone. I am David Bates, but that's not Josh Carey.
What?
That's the utility man. That's
Yes.
why he is the general manager.
Yes.
He can pretty much fill in at any slot, and obviously frequently does.
And it's an
Mr.
honor.
Adam Chapman, good morning.
Good morning, sir. Good to see you.
And it's great to see you today. Josh has got the day off, and I'm back. I've been away for a couple of weeks, so it's good to be back on the air. Hopefully, I can still remember how to do this. At this stage of the game, you never know. I don't take anything for granted, but we do appreciate everyone tuning in and being here and being a part of the program today. Of course, Adam, we don't do this alone.
No, sir. We have some folks that go along with us here.
Well, you know what? They are a great part of what we do
They are.
here at Bates Nursery. And, of course, on the show, Gardening Inside Out Together, we've got Caroline Gant, Austin Owen. Welcome in, guys. Great to see you both this morning.
Good morning.
And,
Same time. Great to be here.
You are.
Mm-hmm.
There we are. We're here. And there's someone else here.
Mm-hmm.
There is someone else here.
There you
Good
go.
morning.
Someone else.
Good to be with
Mr.
you.
Blankenship. Tyler, good morning to you.
Morning, David. Morning, everyone.
Good morning, Tyler. Good to see you.
Yeah.
Oh,
Ah,
and David.
There he is.
okay.
I tell you, it's
Takes a minute. We're all trying to adjust to the musical chairs nature of what we have
Yes.
been doing here for the last several weeks. But that's the nature of wintertime in particular, is that, if we're going to take some time away, this is pretty much when it has to be, because, spring's going to be here
Yes.
rather quickly.
Very soon. Well, I can hear the hordes gathering
They are
down
gathering.
the street.
they're coming.
They're getting
Well, we
ready.
had a
Yeah.
little experiment we conducted this week, and you mentioned it, and then I talked to Tyler about it, and hastily, the newsletter that I put out every week. It
Yes. Came a little early.
normally
A little
comes out
early.
on Thursday afternoon, but with the weather that was approaching and with near certainty, we made a decision. We're going to roll this newsletter out early, so I hastily wrote something, got it put together, and for those of you who are subscribers to Into Garden with Bates Nursery, you got this advance notice that for these snow days we were closed, you got to receive a 25% discount online through batesnursery.com, even though we were closed. And a lot, I think 86.
It was
people-
over 90.
over 90.
Yeah, over 90 transactions. And
It was a lot, yeah.
It was a lot, and we pretty much got it all done yesterday. Got it pulled, I think, for the most part. There's a few things that are covered still that were,
Right.
hard to get to, but we'll have everything done by the end of the day today for sure. I would
So
think
anyway,
so.
that worked out nicely. It kept us in the positive cash flow situation for
Yeah,
a couple
and I
of
can't
years.
take full credit. Rachel, my lovely bride, who sometimes sits in for Tyler over there, she actually mentioned it first to me, and that's why I mentioned it to you. So
Yep. Well, and fortunately, I had already been thinking about it, but I thought, well, I need to talk to Tyler about it. So anyway, we've all been talking, and we got that done, and it was a really good result. We appreciate everyone who took advantage of that opportunity, and we will be, for the record, we will be open from 9 until 2 today. So if you want to come out, that deal has gone past, but perhaps if you haven't signed up for it and you don't receive the newsletter, it's a good reason, because, well, we have the ability to kind of pivot quickly and come up with
Yes.
things to try to give everyone an opportunity to make the most of their gardening dollars and efforts. So
Yes.
anyway, thank you
Yes,
to all
indeed.
who participated in that. So, we tend to have a question and answer show. And before
Yes,
we
we
get into
do.
that, I'm sure that Austin and Caroline have got things they want to interject here. So, guys, what say ye about that?
We always have things we want to interject.
Oh, yeah.
Right now, the tables that we built are heavy on my mind. We finished the cacti succulent aisle that I talked about last week. We brought up some photos. It wasn't quite done yet. Austin and I had been working on that for about a week. And there it is. Wow.
Beautiful.
Look at that.
We got tables, we got floating shelves. It actually holds more than the shelves that were there before and looks a million times better.
And it frees up a lot of aisle space also because the nature of those stair step metal racks is they just stick out so far. So it's much better use of our space, and it really sets off the look of the cacti and succulents nicely. Beautifully done. Great job, guys.
Thank you. Yes, I'm very proud of that. Proud of us. We did great. You decorated it great. We got the spots where it's tall, where it's short, all the good stuff. So all the cacti, the coolest cacti really that we sell.
The specimen.
The specimens. Only the specimens go on that table.
Yeah. And it's my favorite aisle. And the metal racks that were there are great for other things, but just didn't really work aesthetically for that, or also really to keep a lot of cacti and succulents on that shelf and on the aisle. So finally having something that looks really, really good right there, it makes me so happy. And getting to design where all the plants went. I did think about it really hard. Spent most of the day yesterday putting them up there.
It looks good.
Well, I put them in sections. I've got like the euphorbia together, like the cereus all together. You know, you got to keep it all
together.
All together. That's right.
Yeah.
And keep yourself together while
Keep
you
it
do
together,
it. Yes,
people.
keep it together, everybody.
Well, you had to keep it together a little bit yesterday because you were pulling orders just like all of us were. Because this,
I think I had about 20 houseplant orders.
I know. It makes me realize that people are starting to say like it is almost spring. So they were cooped up in their house for 2 days, and they're like, you know what? I'm getting online. And I'm going to buy these plants online.
Go shopping.
I'm going to make the Bates employees go get them for me, and I'm going to have them ready. And you were doing that yesterday, pulling orders, and like I said, we've got that fever. I feel
Spring
like
fever. You know what's funny is I got on the website and I started shopping. And
Caroline,
why
you can't do that. Okay, Tyler, we need to make a rule. Caroline's not allowed on the website to buy stuff. She's here all the time buying stuff, so
Austin,
you can't do it at home.
She has access to the internet, man.
I do. You can't block me.
Somehow
you
block that, Tyler. Tyler, you know how to do all the tech stuff. Do that. Make
Tyler,
it happen.
do not block me from shopping on our website.
Yes, we're gonna have to. You got a problem.
But I had some stuff in the cart that I emptied it. I was like, what am I doing?
Yeah,
I don't
sitting
need
at
this.
home shopping.
What else was I supposed to do? It was too cold to go outside in the snow.
Well, that's what the other people thought. That's why we had 90 web orders.
Thank you to everybody who got stuff during the snow days. It gave us another thing to do the last few days here at the nursery.
Yeah.
And you know what I need to do here before we go further, guys, is I have been remiss. I have, in my exuberance to get on the air, I totally bypassed this usual beginning of the program.
Yeah, we were wondering.
We were wondering whether or not.
Today is the 22nd of February, so we're 3/4 of the way through this month, and 43 degrees, mostly sunny conditions today, and the temperatures are beginning to moderate, and that's a really good thing because as we look ahead into the week, it's really going to be pretty nice.
It's going to be nice.
59 Monday, 65 Tuesday, 67 Wednesday. Still in the mid to upper 50s Thursday and Friday, and somewhere between mostly sunny and cloudy conditions. But all in all, we do have the decided feeling that we are making that turn towards spring, and obviously everyone is ready for that. We'll take a look at the radar. There's really not anything happening in the Middle Tennessee area or really over much of the continental U.S. except in the Pacific Northwest and right along the very coastal areas. Here at Bates Nursery and Garden Center, we're looking at 26.4 degrees, and it's really a great start or great ending to a week that looks to be a great start coming into the last week of February on Monday. So we're
no excuses.
No excuses. As you mentioned, Adam, we still got some things to do to kind of undo the freeze protection we had, and I'm sure we'll be talking about that because it was pretty significant freeze for that late in the season. Yep. So it did require us to have to do things that we
preventative measures
From our perspective, it's you kind of have to make a choice as to whether you're going to leave things in and protect them. But the other side of that is if you stay in too long, they get juiced up because it's so protected that they become more susceptible. So I think we did what was the right call, is to get things out early while they're dormant. If we had to, which we did, lay them down, cover them, and now we're in the process of uncovering, standing back up, and make that push towards springtime.
Yeah, we'll be bringing stuff out next week, so it's time.
And I'm sure Julie Patterson has the trucks lined up.
Well, we did get a Monrovia one yesterday. It was a pretty decent order. Had some nice evergreens, some Japanese maples on there, even some broadleafs, some hollies and stuff. So good looking stuff coming in already.
Yeah, finally we're getting trucks in.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
And the great thing about an Oregon truck like you're talking about is they tend to be a little bit behind us.
Yeah, none of it was out of dormancy at all that I could tell. So
and we like that because it keeps us from having to be concerned about protecting things early on. So it's nice to have things at least at the same stage where we are advancement wise with regard to new growth. Hopefully a little behind, which makes it a little easier.
Yes, it does.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Caroline, Austin, I know the questions are over there.
We do have some questions, but we've got some comments coming in. We got a comment on Twitch from the Horticulturalist, which I love the name. Right. It's spelled Hoard in the name. Sounds like me hoarding all those plants, just like me shopping on our website during the I just missed the plants so much. That's why I was doing it. But they say, hi, doing Pilates while watching you guys. That sounds like an amazing morning.
Awesome. Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you for watching. Thank you for commenting. That's our first Twitch comment. So you get a gold star for today.
You get a gold star for doing Pilates.
Yeah.
We're
this early in the morning.
Here.
Oh, there.
Hey, Tyler. He's here all day.
We'll do some group Pilates after the program. So.
No, we won't.
Maybe we will. I don't know. All right.
Thanks for the welcome back, Jane.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
David, it is very nice to have you back.
Yes.
Very
indeed.
strange when you're not here.
I am grateful to be here. Actually, I'm grateful to be anywhere.
Yeah. Well, let's go ahead and dive into some questions. We do have a few this morning. We have a lot about vegetables, but let's start with the gardenia question.
Oh.
Any tips for keeping gardenias alive? They are hardy to zone 7, but I struggle with them in Nashville.
Move to Atlanta.
Move
South
to
Carolina's
Atlanta.
nice.
They're just very marginal here. I mean, they'll do fine if we don't get certain things that the weather does, but...
Well, yeah, I mean, they're just... you would have to build the only way I could think to do it would be to build literal little bitty greenhouses, like boxes that you set over each one of them over the winter. They're just, they can't, we get too cold here in the winter. If it gets below 10 degrees, they're going to burn for sure.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Now, shout out to my mom. She's had one for years. Now, she might not have it anymore. She might have finally left it outside. But she keeps hers in a pot. So she brings it in the winter.
Yeah, certainly that's doable for sure. Yeah.
But like Adam says, even like when you're talking, like even the tags on gardenias say like 10 and under, not good. Like it's not to that zone. So what you see a lot of times is the old growth on gardenia looks bad right now. I even saw one the other day and it was like, pretty much every leaf that was left on it was burned. Like just awful. It did not look good. Almost even the word is crispy. Almost. Not quite there, but almost there. So what you have to do if you want gardenia and you want to wait it out, which is kind of what you have to do, those old leaves are going to kind of look horrible, honestly, until like honestly, what, mid-April to even May probably. Yeah. And then you might see a reflush of new leaves, which is what you're playing for. But don't expect your gardenia to look great over the winter time. Even if it does live, which is, we're on the line
marginal
here. But if it does live, it's not going to look just beautiful through the whole winter time here. It's just not. Like Adam said, go to Atlanta, go to South Carolina. It's nice.
Move. Take your gardenia. Get out. Just kidding. Don't get out. Stay here. You just have to try a little bit harder. And I have to do that with some of my plants, and that's okay. That's why we garden. We got a comment from Carol on YouTube saying, it was my first time shopping online, and it was so fun. Not to mention the savings.
Not
Caroline.
The shavings off of her total. That's what I was saying.
Oh, the savings off.
The savings, exactly.
Yes, great work.
Good work, Carol. Yeah, it's fun to online shop.
Carol, what did you buy? I want to know. Carol, come back and tell us. I want to know exactly what you bought.
Yeah, Carol, get back in these comments and let us know. We want to know. We need to know. And I bet you guys are itching to know the next question.
Let's hear it.
Am I supposed to trim lavender?
Well,
I trim my. I have a lot of lavender. Some I trim back once it gets unruly because it does get. For mine, it gets very sparse on the inside. Like I'll have new growth up top, but then if I let it keep growing, all the dead stuff is on the inside, on the interior. So I will give mine a trim back just because it looks better, and to me it's healthier. I trimmed mine back not too long ago.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you nailed it. Like, that's what you get, is you get a lot of top growth and not a lot of interior growth. So I've had lavender in the past, too, to where a lot of times over the wintertime here, lavender, we stay a little wet for lavender. Let's be honest.
Mine looks great right now.
Yeah, and a lot of times you cut yours back, though. I mean, and it's, you know.
I didn't cut that one back.
No, that one's still chilling?
That was still chilling.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome.
But for the most part, like, it's going to look, a lot of times lavender looks a little ratty. So just giving it a straight up, just chop back to the earth, let new stuff come from the roots, you'll see a lot cleaner plant next spring. If you do that. But if you want to leave your lavender up and it's big and you kind of like it that way and it's okay that it's a little bit sparse on the interior, then you can leave it.
Yeah.
Like,
mine is showing off right now. I sent a picture to Ben and Bridget a couple of weeks ago because I've got it planted in front of some Northwind switchgrass, and that Northwind switchgrass is still up, and then I have lavender in the windows. And so I've got the switchgrass that's, dead up top, but then this lavender that's still this beautiful silvery green color, and then I have creeping thyme all around it. It's a nice little bed.
Cool.
It's spilling over the little wall that I made. I'm proud of me for that one. And you guys should be proud of me too.
And we are.
Thank you. I was waiting for you to say that, Adam.
Sure.
All right, Adam, what would you say to any advice for deterring deer and squirrels?
Well, my normal answer is for squirrels.
Is it shoo? Is that what you try to do? Is it
Shoot.
go away?
that's helpful.
Is it? Get out of here. What are you doing?
Well, for squirrels, there's an outdoor cat that'll keep most squirrels away.
Yeah.
And air rifle. Traps maybe. Squirrels are,
Yeah.
Squirrels are,
they're tree rats, and
that's a cute way of putting it.
I tell you what, those traps work because I was trying to trap some rats at my property.
Where's the timer?
And you got squirrels instead?
Yeah, and I got
squirrels. I told you.
Not just
They're tree
not
rats.
just one, but the same one twice. They really wanted to get in there because they just love. They don't care.
Did he say anything the second time? Did he look abashed? Maybe a little embarrassed?
He's embarrassed.
Maybe a little bit of shame if a squirrel could show shame, but mostly let me out of here, and I'm gonna come back later.
Well,
if you don't
as far as deer go, for the rest of the question, you can use repellents like liquid fence and that kind of thing. Actually, I heard from a longtime friend and customer and of Bates that you can use blood meal as a repellent for deer as well. They just anything that has a very sharp smell. Yeah. Their olfactory senses are very, very sensitive. So a lot of people use soap. I've heard mixed,
Ivory soap.
Yeah. Or I think it's Irish Spring. I think is what they usually recommend.
I have heard that. Yeah.
But, if you're going to use repellents, the biggest thing is to make sure that you reapply if it rains.
And wash it away.
It's really what you're doing is you're training them. If they come to your property and they smell that 3 or 4 times in a row, they'll likely move on. But if they come once, it's there. If they come the next time, it's not there. They're just going to walk right on in. So
they're going to say, "Hey, I'm going to come munch on all of your landscaping. You planted me a buffet."
Well, of course. I mean, that's
what they see.
That's what I would think if I was a deer.
Beautiful buffet. Sure. Mm-hmm. Hey, Pam on Facebook says, I'm thinking of planting tons of lavender in between my wall of white hydrangea to get rid of deer. Any variety you would suggest? I grow phenomenal lavender. Yep. That's what I have the best of luck with. And I actually put our Earth Mix Enlighten in the bottom of it. It's the expanded shale to help with drainage. And I find that they do way better than they did when I did not do that. Mm-hmm. So that's my favorite variety.
It's probably the hardiest variety that we sell anyway. There's another one that came out called Sensational. There's all these great names. Phenomenal, Sensational. And honestly, they have been, though. I mean, really, they have been. Now, helping with drainage certainly helped, I think. A heavy clay, wet scenario is not the spot for lavender. But I tell you, Pam, lavender out in front of white hydrangea.
It's going to be stunning.
Money, Pam.
Yes, Pam.
Good work.
I love that. Hey, Colin said.
Hey, Col.
Oh, Colin, I was wondering what your comment Lifebuoy meant, but you said Lifebuoy soap. I don't know what that is.
Lifebuoy soap. Hey,
sounds great.
Colin knows what it is. Look, we trust Colin. If
David,
he says Lifebuoy is a soap,
I've never heard of that. Whatever that is, but I will be looking it up. I will be Googling it.
David said he's heard of it. David, what is it?
It's Life Buoy, not
Buoy.
B-O-Y.
Gotcha.
Interesting. Well, I'll have to
It
do a
must
little
be very
research.
fragrant.
A British brand of soap marketed by Unilever.
Oh, thanks, Tyler.
There we
Tyler
go.
is
Right
so
on
fast
cue.
at Googling.
Uh-huh.
It's incredible. Hey, Carol got back to us about what she got
What'd she
the
get?
online shopping extravaganza. 1 strawberry limelight and 3
Sweet.
echinacea.
There you go.
Right
Well,
up my alley.
money.
I love it.
Money.
Money, power, right there. All right, tips on growing carrots.
Carrots.
Got to have deep,
Deep and loose.
loose soil. Yeah. And
Yep.
you know, there is a soil that's really good
There
for
is.
that. And I mentioned last week and it's very similar in my garden beds, my raised garden beds that I have Earth Mix Garden in. I was able for the first time ever in my life to pull up dandelions.
Oh, yeah, you said that.
The whole root came up out.
Whoa.
Same thing with carrots.
Exactly.
If you got a soil that's like that, you can grow carrots in it.
Yep, there is nothing worse than trying to pull a carrot and snapping off half of it.
Oh
in
my
the
gosh,
earth.
it's so sad.
It is.
My dogs love
Well,
carrots that I grow. They don't eat them from the grocery store, but if I grow them, they eat them like crazy.
Your carrot snapping days can be over forever if you choose to grow them in Earth Mix Garden. Other tuberous types of like potatoes
Beets.
and other things that radishes. There anything that has a really high organic component to it, which is what all Earth Mix garden products have, or give that ability for the soil to it doesn't compress a lot, and because you have active organic biodegradation going on, which just means that it's turning into further composted material, which is creating space for these things to expand into, and therefore when you try to pull them out, it comes with a lot less effort being required.
Yep.
So and what you also get is you get products that have been developed, and just say, it's been Adam and I along the way. We have been
Yes, sir.
actively working at it and continue to actively work at it, trying to perfect the products we already have and create some new ones. Tyler actually contributed to a new product that we're testing right now. So Earth Mix Garden products are 100% organic. It's sustainably produced right here in Nashville, Tennessee, and there's absolutely no chemical additives to it. Only thing that's added to it is what Mother Nature provides already. Supernatural has elemental sulfur in it to get the pH down just a bit, because there's also turkey pellets, which is turkey manure that is in these pelletize form, and it's slightly on the alkaline side. So this helps balance that out. In addition to that, we use endo and ectomycorrhiza fungi, humic acid.
Ooh, yeah.
These are things that plants need and want naturally, and that's what you get when you buy every bag, every scoop, every super sack, whatever package you buy it in. That's what you get when you buy Earth Mix Garden products, and they are available all over the area, in the ever increasing range. And we've got color coding on the little pins now, which is
Pretty.
So cool.
It's pretty.
It's very nice. So you can either put your address in here for turn-by-turn directions to the location nearest you, or you can simply, like Wallace Garden Center right there, up in Louisville. Great folks.
They've just gotten their order.
They are Earth Mix customer number 1 outside of the Middle Tennessee area. So just remember this: no matter where you are, whether you're in Idaho or Colorado, Western North Carolina, Northern Alabama, or Middle Tennessee or Kentucky, there is an Earth Mix dealer near you. Success begins at the ground level when you use Earth Mix Garden products, and we work hard to make that point a really, not just some tagline that we thought of that sounded cute. It's a real thing.
But it does sound cute, though.
Yes, it does. Very cute.
But not just because of that. Because it's actually true.
And it's
We
adorable.
actually put things in there that are the difference makers in success. And we really want to try hard to take the work out of gardening. We want you should be able to do it without having to exert some extraordinary effort. If you could just make the effort to use Earth Mix when you plant, you are well on your way towards success. So thanks for giving us a minute to talk about that. And thanks to Adam and all for keeping me online. I had about let that one get away from me. You take off a couple of weeks, and what happens? You lose all track of it. So, Earth Mix Garden Products, check it out at earthmix.net. And thank you for giving us a moment to talk about that.
Hey, Colin says on Facebook, I heard the Earth Mix commercial on NPR yesterday around rush hour. Nice work, Tyler.
Hey.
Oh, yeah.
Tyler.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Got to get that messaging out. Got to let them know the good stuff's there.
You're doing it.
Also, if you're on Instagram in the Nashville area, you will see an advertisement for delivery of Super Sack Earth Mix.
Oh, is it
And
out?
bulk.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
Featuring
I did a little-
We did not have a year ago.
Yeah, I did a little ride along with DC, and we did a customer delivery. It went fairly smoothly, and got some footage of that. So that's out there too.
I can't wait to see it.
I know, that was great.
I haven't seen it, so yeah.
I saw a rough edit of it, but I haven't seen the finished product.
Nice.
Tyler, did you put music to it? Some awesome ride along music?
I did in the private version, but no, not this one.
Okay.
Hey, Bill is asking a question on YouTube. This is a question right up Austin's alley.
No.
Bill says, good morning. I planted some climbing roses last year for the first time. When and how far should I prune them back? And then thank you.
So climbing roses get very tall typically in the season, okay? So we are generally going to do some pruning, but let's still wait on that a little bit. What we've seen is some really cold temps below 10 degrees, and we talked about this, kind of that number, below 10 degrees down into 0, we've seen that. So what you might see is some tip dieback from the top of those climbing roses. So we want to kind of see, Bill, where the freeze damage happened on those, and that'll kind of tell us where to prune. I was reading actually a rose book that I've got not too long ago, and a lot of the rosarians are talking about, waiting until really we start to see almost the crack of new growth. I mean, honestly, you see kind of where that happens from along those green stems. The first key is we do want green stems, okay? So if you're seeing off-color, dead, dying or diseased wood, we want to go ahead and get rid of that. We really want the nice green canes. And then let's see where that dieback happened from, and then where that happened from, and you see new growth, then you'll cut right atop of that. And you'll have another climbing rose for this season. There's hardly anything better than a climbing rose when it's going and it's happy, right?
That's the key, when it's happy.
Right.
And it's hard to keep them happy here.
It is. It takes effort.
It does take effort. Although I know you guys are probably tired of me talking about it, but my Carefree Wonder, that's the rose that I don't have to do much
So
to.
tired of you talking about it.
I know, right, Adam? So tired of hearing about that. Hey, but Mary is asking a question about lavender. So just to go back around to that, Mary says,
Mary.
what lavender you have, and is it in the ground or a pot? I know I already answered that. It's phenomenal, but all of mine is in the ground. I find it does better, but it's in areas that I raised up. So I've got it in one spot on either side of my sidewalk by my driveway. It's a bed that's piled up. So it gets a lot of heat from the sidewalk and the driveway, but it's also up high. And the other one is another bed that I built up. I found when I planted them just in ground in a bed that I didn't raise, not good.
Nope.
It held too much moisture and they kind of rotted. So in the ground, but lifted up, I would say.
One
is
thing
the best way
to
to
remember
go for it.
is lavender is a Mediterranean plant and native to the Mediterranean, and they have lots of sandy soils there, very well drained soil.
Definitely.
And we don't.
Yeah. So you got to make it drain well.
Yep.
You got to do it yourself. Raise it up, put some rocks underneath, and it will be great. All right. I'm interested in growing sunchokes. Will you guys stock tubers this year, or do you have any recommendations? We don't usually keep that, and I don't think I've ever seen us sell it. I have some friends that grow it. Now, I will say, once you plant it, get ready to have it forever.
You got it.
I have two friends who have tried to dig it up and get rid of it. They gave me some. I sat with it for a while, and then I never planted it because I was like, I don't know. I know. And I have lots of land, but I was still kind of scared of how much it was going to take over. Now, if you don't know what we're talking about, this is a plant that looks a lot like a sunflower. They get huge. You can have a whole wall of them, and then you dig them up, and people use the tubers. You can eat them. You can cook them and eat them. So,
But is it worth it? Because they are aggressive, to say the least.
They are good, though.
I guess. They're too good as plants, though. They are a weedy mess, kind of.
They are a little bit of a beautiful weedy mess that is edible, but I would say your best bet is to find someone who's growing them, and they will probably be more than happy to let you dig them up. Maybe some of our viewers or listeners on the podcast have some that they're growing.
Have any of you guys ever eaten any of them?
Yes,
I have not.
I have. Very earthy taste.
Tastes like dirt.
I didn't love it, but it wasn't
like
bad.
any other tuber, or I mean, is it like
it has
rutabaga, or
it's got more of a flavor than like potatoes or something. But yeah, it's not something that I really feel like I need to eat a lot. So.
Or ever again.
or ever again. I mean, I might if it was around, but no.
In the apocalypse, you might.
In the apocalypse, I might do it, but I won't have them growing, because I never planted them.
Well, there you go.
Well, the good thing is, if there is an apocalypse, they will still grow.
They will still grow. So maybe grow them if you want some food, just in case. Just in case something happens.
There you go.
All right, what's a container vegetable that can handle full sun and is drought tolerant?
Oh gosh,
Container veggie. I would say peppers.
Would be what comes to mind. Yeah.
That would be perfect. I mean, honestly, drought resistant is
Sunchokes. Yeah. There you go. We just talked about them. Can't kill them.
Ugh.
Put them in a container. They'll be more contained in that container. They won't spread.
Yep.
A lot of people like to grow potatoes in containers.
I love it.
Do that and like raise them up. People use like old like car tires. Have y'all seen this?
I've seen that. I've used dog food bags.
Yeah, you can use a lot of things. Potatoes are kind of fun to do.
Thing.
Well, because also too, whenever they're done and they're finished, you just dump it out and you got all your potatoes. You don't have to dig. No shovel needed in our heavy clay. Loosen up that soil with our garden.
Well, I
the
use
car tires make such a great statement.
Yes,
they're aesthetically beautiful.
Oh yeah.
Yes, just like the dog food bags.
Well, I use incidentally, I use Proganics O outdoor for my pots with the potatoes.
With the taters. That's what I used last year. We did get a question that says tips on growing potatoes and sweet potatoes in Tennessee. So let's just dive into it a little bit more.
Once again, what Adam hit on earlier, it's same with carrots. Let's make our soil loose as we can, okay? We're okay with growing potatoes here in the ground, but it is very helpful to loosen your soil. Any of those root crops, y'all, you're not going to get a beautiful round potato like you want in our heavy clay soils. They're gonna get funky. They're going to get weird. Like, you've seen those carrots are the same way. They'll get funky little arms on them with the heavy clay.
Cool. So they look like little people when you pull them up like that.
Loosen it up a little bit. Hey, look up lasagna gardening. That's kind of cool for growing potatoes. I did that in college at our organic vegetable farm at MTSU, and it was a really cool thing where you layer up a bunch of different like compost blends, more or less, and you make this super loose environment, and you throw the potatoes right down in there, and it made a great little bed.
Yeah. When I met my husband, that's what he was doing. I didn't know anything about it.
It's so easy.
He taught me all about lasagna gardening.
I mean, I say it's
easy. And now
easy.
he doesn't really garden anymore.
Yeah. It's somewhat expensive,
Look
like on the front end.
Caroline.
I think he was like, well, she's going to do it all, so I don't need to.
But yeah, look it up. I mean, seriously, it made like the nicest, most beautiful big potatoes that I've ever grown.
Growing potatoes is so fun.
It
I
is.
do the thing where you keep on piling the soil up, and once I see the little leaves come up, I put more on top. And then when you get to dump it out, if you grow it in a container, it's so exciting.
Yeah.
I did that with my dogs the fall. I dumped out my potatoes. They helped me dig through it. I mean, they weren't looking for potatoes.
No.
They were just excited about soil being all over the place.
Free labor.
Yeah.
And then I kept finding it. It would rain because I just left a pile of dirt where I dumped it out for a little while.
Yes.
But the little potatoes would roll out every so often. I'd be like, look, I missed some. There they are.
Well, let's talk about why you do that in the first, like why we talk about potatoes and building up soil more so around the stems. Okay, potatoes are extremely closely related to tomatoes. And if you know tomatoes at all, any stem that gets close to the dirt or even above the dirt, it will root from that. Yeah. So potatoes are no different. So if you strip off those lower leaves of the potato and you build up soil around it, what happens is that it roots even more. And then what happens when you get more roots?
More potatoes.
More potatoes.
More
so
taters.
That's why we mound them up. People have always talked about mounding your potatoes, and that's what we're talking about. And great practice to do.
Yes, it is. That's a good tip you talk about in the summer when it's time to plant tomatoes. But if you're wondering, Austin talks a lot about planting them even deeper than when you get your little starts from the nursery. A lot of people will just put that in the ground at the same level. But yeah, strip those leaves and bury them deep, then you'll have even stronger roots.
You know what happens a lot of times if you have go ahead, David.
And if you have a lot of old tires, this is a great way. You can just stack them and continue to fill it
back around
soil,
to the tires.
And it too is a great landscape statement.
Yes.
There's something I'm not sure what.
You can paint little murals on the tires.
That's what
you
we
can
got to
make
do.
them colorful. You could do something nice. I don't have any tires that I'm gardening in. Maybe I need to start that too.
You know what we're going to do? We're going to set up some tires for David, a stack of them. And we're going to put Bates Nursery all across. Like, we're going to make them beautiful.
Are we?
Right at the front.
Right at the front,
David, what do you think?
You can put lipstick on a pig, but
we may need to think about that.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that after the broadcast.
Okay.
Hey, Colin says, if there isn't a Kev video, I volunteer as a tribute to purchase a delivery for Supernatural.
Oh, gosh.
So it looks like you're going. And then before that, he just asked, is there a Kev delivery video?
I mean, we can make that happen, Colin.
You can make that happen.
Oh, we can.
Absolutely.
push it to the limit.
Push it to the limit. And then Joyce says, your delivery guy is awesome.
Yeah.
So that would be DC or Paul. Paul might have been your delivery guy.
Or Jim.
Or Jim. Jim. Jim is like the knight. I rarely see him. He comes in early. He does his job amazingly. Like he blows in.
We've got a great delivery guy staff.
We really do.
Different personalities, but they're all great. Really nice
Jim
folks.
is kind of the stealth delivery guy.
He is.
He slips in and slips out, and you almost don't know he's here.
He is so strong, too. It is wild.
He's what, like 73 years old or something like that? And he's still just out there killing it.
You wouldn't guess that by looking at him. Yeah, it is. He's pretty impressive, y'all.
Yep.
Pretty impressive. So you might have had one of those three. They're all equally amazing.
Joyce said Jim.
Oh, yeah, Jim.
Everybody loves Jim. Jim's a great guy.
His eyes also twinkle. Shout out, Jim, if you're watching.
He's a sweet man.
Love him.
Twinkle eyes.
Twinkle eyes. All right, another vegetable question. I started some tomato and pepper seeds indoors, and they are doing great. When can I transplant them into the ground, or do I need to put them in bigger pots first?
Depends on the size of the starting pot that you got them in, but certainly you want to wait until the soil temperature is up. I would say minimum middle of April. I mean, it depends on the weather, but you want the soil temperatures to be up there.
And for those keeping score at home, that's 2 months away.
Correct, correct. So if you've already got them coming up, just watch them closely. You may have to transplant them into something a little bigger. It just depends on the weather.
Yeah. And like David just said, we've got time, y'all, before we're actually going to set them out in the ground. On these warm days, if you do put them in bigger containers, like getting them out with that natural sunlight and getting them acclimated on those, 60 or plus days, like that's very helpful to keep a good, sturdy seedling. Like that's kind of what we want. We don't want to start putting something out in our bed that's like this gangly, leggy little thing. We need it beefy and looking good. So if you can get it into a bigger container and move it out into the sunlight, it's going to be helpful for it. But yeah, we still got time before it's actually going in the dirt around here.
And this is where I think it's worth taking a moment just to reiterate the importance of when you're germinating garden seeds inside, you need to keep it in high light and low temperatures. You want to, the most easy mistake to make is to have it in a sunny spot that is quite warm, and they germinate and they get spindly. And that almost certainly spells doom for them. Now, one thing you can do is to transplant them, out of the seed flat into a larger pot and plant them very deep. But unless you change the conditions they're growing in, that's going to happen yet again. So it's very much about keeping the conditions right. If you could keep the nighttime temperatures where it would get down into the lower 40s, where it's chilly, not freezing, but chilly. You really want that to be the case so that they grow very slowly. They get a very much thicker stem, and it also bides your time because you've got to wait 2 months before you go out with them. So you need to have time for them to come along slowly and to have thick, strong stems. If you do that, you'll have great success. If you don't do it, you'll find out very quickly because they'll be flopping before you know it.
That's right.
Yep. So
Nobody wants that. Hey, I missed a question. I can't believe I missed this. That came in on Facebook from Debbie.
Hey, Deb.
Your favorite climber? Not white.
Oh, favorite climbing rose?
Yes.
That's got to be New Dawn, I think.
Yeah.
It's such a good rose.
What color is New Dawn?
It's a soft pink.
Blush. Okay. Very blush pink.
Soft pink. But really, when it comes to a performer, it's a great performer.
There is New Dawn white as well.
So.
Yeah, that's why when you said New Dawn, I was like, isn't that white? So
I mean, the classic New Dawn rose is such a disease-resistant and just excellent rose. I mean, it really, really is. Good performance around here. A heavy bloom production, usually at least 2 full blooms a season, sometimes 3 if you're lucky. But it's just a climbing machine. And it's our best seller still to this day, I'd say, because of its disease resistance and just vigor. So New Dawn is probably my favorite climbing rose. Not necessarily my favorite color. I mean, I love light pink, fine. There's other ones that are cool.
What do you mean you love light pink fine? You love pink flowers.
I do, but not necessarily light pink. It's not enough.
It's not loud enough.
It's not loud enough.
Personality. You need it to be like,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But as a performer, New Dawn. Try it out. It's a good
Where
rose.
would you find those roses, though?
Here.
Where are we?
David, tell us.
That's right. Well, if you're looking for all manner of things regarding horticulture, there's no place better to look than Bates Nursery and Garden Center. I'll say this, if you look at the very top of our website, which is batesnursery.com, you'll see a blue bar across the top. It says View Positions. We're now taking applications for seasonal employment. And if you like digging in the dirt, if you like talking to people about plants, if you've just enjoyed being outdoors and being helpful, we're looking for people that have a variety of skills. And we would love to have your application. We'd love to talk to you. And that's what makes Bates Nursery a consistent favorite amongst the Middle Tennessee folks, is that, we are Middle Tennessee. We're here to help. We're here to be of assistance to help you figure out what you need to do. And it takes a lot of people to do that. So come out, fill out an application. I think, Tyler, can they download one off the website? I haven't looked at it a bit, so I'm assuming that's
correct.
The case.
You hit that View Positions button at the very top.
There it gives it to you. So you can fill that out, bring it in, and then talk to Paula. And, spring is rapidly approaching. So we're looking forward to getting that season underway. And it takes a bunch of folks to do it. And in addition to the folks that we hope to bring on, we have right here in studio quite a good representation of the talent that's available here. We don't really do anything else. We're horticulturalists. We are plant aficionados. We're plant zealots. We love all the things associated with it, especially Austin. I mean, he's the most zealot there is.
And some of us,
drama.
Yeah, some of us even have problems with. We just can't stop buying plants, like Carolyn.
There's that.
But I could talk about a lot of things, though, because of that.
That's true.
So anyway, no matter what you're looking for, be it trees, shrubs, ground covers, perennials, annuals, sun, shade, ground covers, you name it, we carry it all at Bates Nursery and Garden Center. If we don't have it the moment you come out, we have trucks rolling in. Very soon they'll be daily. There'll actually be multiple trucks daily. So our challenge is to try to communicate with you well and help you find the things you're looking for, because that's what we've been doing since 1932. Yes, this is our 93rd year of business. This is actually the golden anniversary of Bates Garden Center. 50 years ago, we actually built the facility. And Adam, as you and Austin both well know, we have been working diligently at upgrading our facilities and getting them up to standards. And we've been very fortunate to make a lot of headway with regard to that. So we invite you to come out and see us, see what all we've got, and also invite you to, we talked about at the top of the program, consider signing up for my newsletter, the blog we put out. If you go to batesnursery.com and just click on the far left, it says blog there, and the latest post is always right up on the front. And we had a sale this week, and if you were a subscriber, you knew about it. A lot of folks did, and we're very appreciative of that. Also have a listing of past articles down below, so you can check on those and find out everything that's going on at Bates Nursery Garden Center, beautifying Nashville since 1932. Bates Nursery and Garden Center. We appreciate you coming out and see us. We're getting ready for spring, and it just may be that you want to come help us do that. So again, check out the link at the top for the possibility for applying for positions, and we're looking for a lot of different people with a lot of different abilities. So check it out, batesnursery.com.
Come on down.
Thank you for giving us a moment to talk about that.
We forgot something, and I bet y'all are waiting.
Yeah,
yes.
I was waiting.
But we also
with bated breath.
Yeah, we're missing an element of that.
Oh, Tyler,
do you want to do it?
Like I said, the GOAT. All right. So I thought I wanted to talk about a person, and I didn't want to say a person is the GOAT, okay? Because there's so many of y'all. All right. So I thought of a new acronym last night for GOAT, and this is for our listeners. I wrote some down, okay? Jane, Donna, Pam, Cherry, Sherry, and Paul, shout out, Joyce, always, Risha, Chris, Colin, Lee, and Sam Boyette. All of you are GOATs to me. Now, what do I mean when I say GOATs? You are gardeners of all things. There it is. Got it? G-O-A-T.
Yeah.
Gardeners of all
Gardeners
things.
of
All
all
of y'all
things.
fans. Love y'all so much. Thank you. But I am going to be talking about a specific someone that is near and dear to my heart, and her name is Shirley Hood. I met Shirley years ago when I came out to prune her Japanese maple for her. Okay, she had this cool weeping Crimson Queen Japanese maple. And what we did, she's a British woman, she's hilarious and really, really nice woman, okay? We came to her house. We literally did a little dance around her Japanese maple. We
Wow.
cleaned it together. I don't dance for just anybody, but for
you
Shirley,
don't. I know that.
we just walked around probably 4 or 5 times just cleaning out this Japanese maple together. It was brilliant. And then I realized she's got a lovely, lovely garden, okay? Some really cool stuff that you just don't see. So what happened? I just made a friend that day. I made a gardening friend that day, Shirley Hood, and we walked around her yard. She had a cool Washington hawthorn. She got a deciduous azalea that was like 7 feet tall. I mean, beautiful.
Wow.
All sorts of different stuff. And unfortunately, Shirley, 5 years ago, your husband passed away. I'm so sorry about this. And he was an avid gardener. You told me this. And he would bring you plants. You said you would plant them and you'd watch them, and that was great. And 5 years ago, your GOAT of an evergreen shade-loving plant, your Pieris. Okay. Now, Adam, I know where you stand on this, okay? Pieris is not everybody's favorite for Middle Tennessee, okay? But it is the GOAT for the patient gardener, okay? And that's what Shirley is. 5 years ago, your Pieris bloomed for you, and this was the year your husband died. This year, you've waited 5 years. 5 years, Shirley, you waited, and you sent me a picture. We don't have it today, whatever. But everybody knows Pieris is great. You sent me a picture. It's been 5 years since it bloomed, and it is in bloom this year. So if you want to grow something that's a little bit tricky, a little bit hard, but worth it whenever it blooms, grow Pieris for that semi-shade kind of environment. Hers was big, and I saw multiple on her property. This just goes to show you that, like, you plant one in this one spot, and you plant 2 or 3 in other spots, and those 2 or 3 may not do great. But this one, if it takes, hers was like 8 foot tall, and it was fantastic. It was beautiful. Shirley,
Goodness.
it was so good, and it is in bloom this year. And this gives me hope that this Shirley is going to be one of the most beautiful springs we're going to have because your Pieris bloomed. There you go. You're the GOAT. All of y'all are GOATs. Pieris is the GOAT for the shade. All you GOATs, just keep grazing that pasture of flowers, okay? Love y'all.
Yes, keep on grazing. I did see that picture just to talk about it a little bit, and it was stunning.
It's stunning.
Yeah, the picture she emailed
And
to
8
you.
foot tall Pieris, let's be honest. Like, y'all Google Pieris, just look at it. It's fantastic. The beautiful spring blooms this time of year, like early spring.
They're cascading.
They're
They're like
chains.
this gold cascade
They're
with our
chains.
cedar that's sitting in front of us. It has that same kind of form, but it's blooming and it has broad
It's
leaves.
chains of white
Yeah.
blooms. It's
It's-
fantastic. And then the
I kinda
bust
want
of new
one.
growth in the spring is
Adam
this
looks
beautiful red.
mad right now.
Adam doesn't really like Pieris, okay? I
Shaking
knew he
his
was
head.
going to do this. I knew it. But I said,
I've
Adam,
never
it's the
seen
GOAT
one that big
of
in this part of the
patience.
country.
I've never said that I didn't like Pieris. I've said that it's one of those things where, like you were saying, Austin, when you see one of them,
Yes.
it's amazing. But how many of them do you see around here? That
I know.
Like that?
I know.
Not many.
Not that many. But when you see that one,
Yeah. It's I don't know. It's one of those things where you may have people chasing something that's not that possible.
Not that possible, but it
Shirley
can
made it
be.
happen.
Look, you got to be a patient goat.
Sure.
A patient goat.
Sure.
We do. It's all about patience.
I agree.
Now I want to try one. Maybe I will. We get them in at the nursery, and they do look super cute.
They're beautiful.
In pots, and they're spilling over. And when they're blooming, it's just
I know. They are.
there's nothing that looks like it. I mean, it's got a very unusual, unique look. And wow,
Hey, you know what?
Gives
Speaking
me
of
hope.
unusual,
What?
we went a little unusual with our route today, but now we've got to go to your spot
Let's do it.
And let them know the unusual stuff that's in this room.
Let's make it happen.
It's not.
In room with Caroline.
We only got 10. So
I
make it happen.
like these. We only got 10. All right. I like our segments back to back. So I already talked a little bit about the Gold Cascade D&R cedar that we've got in front of us. Shout out to my parents who bought me one after the show once when I featured it as our plant.
Hey,
and they came out here and bought me one. Can't believe it.
Paul.
It's looking great right now. So that's what we've got on the tables in front. Little spiller. It's going to get huge over time. This is a great specimen piece to have in your yard. They like a lot of sun. And then in front, we've got Sprinter boxwood. If you can see it kind of sticking up a little bit, there's some bronzing on it. It's in the...
very front?
Very front, on
the floor.
Oh, wait. I'll just
the
put
boxwoods.
I'll put back the main
And
camera.
Austin, there it is. Wow. We had to bring in some boxwood. I mean, I know each week I've been talking about how their bronze look is very colorful this time of year. So Sprinter boxwood down there, Austin did tell me that supposedly this is one of the fastest growing boxwoods on the market. So if you want to get something that's going to get a little bit bigger and not grow really slow, go for this one. In the corners, we've got Blue Atlas cedar. We already brought these in once before, but why not do it again? They look so good right now, showing off in the winter.
Everybody needs one.
You've got one.
I do. I love it.
I've got one. I love it. And then next to it, this is something that came off that Monrovia truck that we were talking about that came in yesterday. We've got some evergreen clematis, y'all. Look at that.
Armandii.
I love it. The leaves are glossy. The leaves are huge. I've never tried it here. Maybe I did and it died, come to think of it, but let's not talk about that.
Another one we're on the fence about.
Maybe I'll try it again one day. And then I bet you've all been like, what is that red plant that's below the TV? Oh my gosh.
Everybody knows
what that is. Firepower Nandina, y'all.
Firepower.
But look how red it is. I mean, it is popping against the like gray slate blue of the green room. Wow.
Hey, around town, too, they've been blood red this year. Like, it's been a good one.
Yeah.
Been a good year for Nandina.
I don't hate it. I don't have any Nandina planted. I'm not going to plant any Nandina, but I can appreciate it from a distance. Y'all should have seen Tyler's face when Austin brought it into the green room.
He was mad at me. Tyler was like, really?
We got that slow, disappointed sigh from Tyler that comes out of his mouth when he's just full of something.
Like, guys, really?
And then he'll put his head down.
I said it would be nice to use Nandina because it's colored up really good, but
it's
we got to represent all the plants, even those old school plants. Backbone plants. All right, and then let's talk about our feature plant. I bet you guys have seen this heuchera, and you're like, what is that? Those large leaves with those red veins. This is red lightning heuchera. I haven't seen this before, and it came in on that Monrovia truck, and Austin saw it before me, and he was like, Caroline, get that heuchera. And I was like, what heuchera? And then I said, oh, it must be that heuchera. So I will be bringing some of this heuchera home to add to my bed because I absolutely love this plant.
Because of course you will.
Because of course I will. Well, I have a lot of heuchera. I have a rainbow of heuchera. This reminds me of my northern exposure and high hopes.
It also reminds me of stoplight. That's like an older variety.
But the leaves are bigger than those three that we just mentioned. They are huge. So while I have some that already look very similar to this, the leaves aren't this big. So I'll probably just add one to my collection, but it's a really pretty bed. So thank you for going on this tour with me today. Come out and get you some plants. Like we said, Monrovia brought some really healthy, gorgeous new plants in. We're starting to get those shipments.
I'll tell you what, though, that's a name. That's a name for me. Red Lightning. I mean, if you ever name something.
A new nickname for you?
Sure.
Austin, Red Lightning Lowen.
That plant name is great. Red Lightning. Love it.
Yeah.
That's loud. Great. That's what I'm talking about. That's loud.
It's loud. Everybody needs it. Great shade plant. Mine stays up through the winter.
You love your heuchera. I bet of all the plants you have, like literally top 3 of your favorite, just like filler stuff is heuchera. Which you can't, I mean, there's 1,000 varieties.
I probably have at least over 20 different types planted. And most of them are in the same bed. They've got some rocks. They've got ferns and hosta that come up, when it's warm outside. And they're dormant right now, so the heuchera really gets to show off. It's
a great filler plant. It really is. Don't just buy one heuchera, y'all. You need like 8 at least.
Or you can buy one at a time like I do and slowly build a beautiful rainbow bed.
Either way.
Somebody's mad. Either way. But also, we got to get to more questions. So our viewers and listeners are not mad. Good morning, Risha.
Sorry.
I don't know what it says
because I'm
not wearing my glasses.
Love you too, Austin, and all of you at Gardening Inside Out. And dang, Austin, that story was great.
Aw.
Yeah,
thanks, Risha. Love you, Risha, and your butterfly bush. Hope it's doing great.
I'm sure it's doing amazing.
It looks like sticks
It'll
right
be
now,
in
doesn't it, Rich?
bloom in a few months.
She's like, I'm mad at it right now.
Sounds like a pursuit of Pieris is the gardener's quest for the Holy Grail.
It is.
Jane gets it.
It is. And I mean, the amount of times that I've told people, you have got to treat this like a rhododendron. You've got to dig a hole 8 times bigger than any other plant, put well-draining stuff in it,
all the things
in there. And even then,
it might not happen.
maybe it'll make it. I don't know.
I want to give it a try.
See?
I might do it. Okay, but let's get to questions. We got a question in from Mikey. Shout out to Mikey.
Hey, Mikey.
We heard from you for the first time a couple weeks ago. So Mikey says, I have a poinsettia my sister gave me at Christmas, and it's happy. Should I give it fertilizer to keep it happy until spring? When I take it outside, I would say wait until it starts to get a little bit warmer outside, and just before you go to move it outside, that's when we want to fertilize it. Poinsettias, year after year, they look really great. They become a tree. Austin had one that was bonsai that was really, really cool, had a very thick trunk on it. I was actually at my parents' house the other night. My mom has probably 5 poinsettias she's had for years, and some that are really, really big. And I was just looking at how big and woody the base of the plant is. So yeah, just wait for it, Mikey. It'll be great. Put it outside. Make sure you don't put it into direct sun right away. If you do want to give it a little bit of direct sunlight, let it acclimate to that over time. And then Barbara is asking, when do we plant a new dawn rose?
Oh, well, I mean, whenever you can find one. We don't get that shipment.
Since Josh isn't here, I'll say 3:30.
Stop
There
it.
he
We
is.
thought we were going to miss out on that.
We didn't. No, Adam kept it going.
I mean,
great work, Adam.
If you have one that's in a pot somewhere, put it in the ground. I mean,
Today
it's
at 3:30.
Yeah, I mean,
Today at 3:30.
Exactly.
But usually we don't get our roses until 1st of April, middle of April, something like that.
Yep. And that's when you can come out and find the freshest of the fresh.
Yep.
I mean, that's just, we've talked about Rose Day. Rose Day here is a tradition.
It is.
It's a big day.
It's
a big day.
You and Pedro, it's like a ballet watching the two of you.
The
Your
second time
eyes
I've
look
danced.
wild right now. I mean, he is just here.
We've talked about dancing twice today. What's happening?
Dancing with Pedro.
Yes.
Becoming a regular dancer. You and Pedro, the ballet. Okay. Someone says, I see daffodils blooming. Is it too soon?
No.
I've got
those.
some
I
blooming.
mean, it's what they're doing.
That's what they're doing. Yeah, what are you gonna do?
They're more in tune than we are.
Yeah.
Who are we to say?
That's
Exactly.
right.
Yeah.
We are but mere mortals.
Exactly.
Oh, before we move on to bulbs, I got tulips cracking, y'all. Tulips out of my pots like this big.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, yeah. Mine
Sign
are
of spring.
popping out.
Yeah. Tulips, only the greatest bulb on the planet.
I need to
Don't-
check.
You know that's true. All y'all know tulips are the greatest.
I will say,
like
if you have the money and the time to plant a ton of them, very densely packed, yes. But who has that?
Well, you got to do that with all bulbs, Caroline. What else? What other bulbs?
I don't know, but like
one?
the return of just the single flower that comes up doesn't last long. The petals do this and then just fall
What
off.
do you mean doesn't last long? This is the most popular bulb on the planet, and you're just dissing tulips. Since when do you diss tulips?
Well,
That's true.
It used to be
now.
currency. A few hundred years ago.
Well, it's not anymore.
I'm just
It
saying.
could be. I think it could
Wow,
be.
I didn't know this was going to start something.
I'm mad.
All right, moving on to the next question.
I love tulips. We all do.
No, I do love them. They're just not. They're not my favorite. And I have a lot planted, and I think I just so badly want it to be so much tighter, so much more dense, like cheekwood.
What we're saying is,
if I could make it look like cheekwood,
hey,
but I can't.
Austin, what we're saying is it's Caroline, not the tulips.
Okay, good.
You know, I'm not going to read any more questions. We're done.
No.
Just kidding. We're not done.
Got 3.
Let's talk about a Rex begonia.
All right.
My Rex begonia is looking bad. It was doing fine until a few weeks ago. Tips. So when I grow Rex begonia inside, I don't actually have any right now. I did have a planter that had probably 5 different kinds in it. Towards the end of winter, before it starts getting warm, before it's time to fertilize or put them outside if that's what you do, a lot of times they do start trying to go dormant. I find that they really want to go dormant. And what I have done in the past is completely chopped my plant back. So I've removed all of the leaves, cut it back. And then what happens is you get a stronger plant that's actually going to push out from different spots on that stem from the begonia that's left. And then you'll have a bushier plant. It'll be so much healthier and way happier. So if that's the route you want to take, like I said, you can defoliate it, cut it back, and it will flush back out. Or just give it a couple more weeks and then fertilize it, put it outside, and it'll push a lot of new growth after that. But this is what they typically
that they run
do.
on the dry side. If you keep them too wet, they're just going to rot away.
Yep.
Oh, they rot away, yeah,
They're bad
very,
about
very
that.
fast. I love begonias. I have a lot, just no Rex begonias right now.
Talk about like another like leafy plant. There's a million varieties of like begonia. There's so many out there. Yeah. Really cool ones too.
Yeah.
Super cool.
I love them.
I do too.
All right. One of our viewers is itching to plant right now.
No.
What can they put in the ground now?
Well, trees,
shrubs. Perennials.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. There's tons of stuff you can put in the ground. It's just not those tender things we need to wait on a little bit, you know? Right. But yeah, there's plenty of stuff. You know, I was thinking about like for next week, we should think in cool season veggies, pansies, like that early thing.
Yep.
It's happening, people.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Mm-hmm. And our final question, I hear that music, and you just mentioned it. When do you usually get fruit and vegetable plants in? I want to be prepared.
Fruit, we have a good amount right now, but I mean, that's kind of our first shipment fruit trees.
Yeah, the new fruit trees will be in probably a couple weeks.
Yeah.
And then probably we'll have some cool season stuff by next week.
And speaking of other fruits, like one of Adam's favorites, blueberries, blackberries, raspberries, we typically keep those on deck, y'all.
And you can plant them right now.
I noticed a lot of web orders came through. A lot of blueberries are on that. Y'all grow some food. It's nothing better.
I heard Isley first week of March, maybe.
Yes,
maybe. There it is.
March 3rd.
There it is.
And that's that ornamental stuff, y'all. That cool.
That you don't eat.
Well,
yeah.
Well, thanks everyone for tuning in today, and thanks for all your great questions, and thanks to everyone here today for giving out that good information and helping keeping us informed. So we invite you to tune in again next week. You might have seen a note, Tyler. If you've got interest in this program, why don't you take a minute and subscribe and like the program? And we would like to spread this word around. You can share it with others. Check us out. We're here every week on Saturday mornings, 8 a.m. Central, Gardening Inside Out. We'll see you next week.